Today on the non-league radio show, we welcome media assistant for Coventry United FC, David Garton. Hello, David.
Hi, you right there?
Yeah, not bad. Before we get into Coventry United, David, just find a bit about yourself and your background and how you got involved in the role as media assistant.
Yeah, well, pretty much for Coventry United, I've always kind of followed them since they were formed in 2013. And I've always wanted to help the club. The idea of a new club in a big city was quite appealing. But I've never found a way to kind of get involved. Then over the years, I've been doing other bits of social media online. And in January this year, I kind of sat there and I kept seeing the club were asking for help and volunteers. And I kind of thought, well, this is something I think I could do. I've got two young kids, so it's hard to kind of be involved all the time and physically be there. And I thought, well, I could probably do this, a bit of it from home and go to the games as well. So I contacted the club in January, sent them over a few bits that I've been doing elsewhere. And I kind of said, would you like a bit of help? And since then, it's kind of taken over. spending a lot of time now with the club and doing stuff. What was kind of meant to be a couple of hours a week is kind of, it's in my mind is kind of 24/7, which is brilliant because I'm helping out with Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, helping keep the website updated. So what kind of started off as a couple of kind of social media posts to advertise the games is kind of it's kind of grown, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and as you know, you've got to keep things going all the time as well as social media. I know the same. You've got to keep on top of it. People messaging, people getting in touch, and you've got games. And I'm guessing, do the games go out live on a match day as well?
Well, they do online over YouTube. They do like the commentary. Recently, the head of media has left the club, so obviously we have a current vacancy for that. So at the moment, I'm kind of helping with everything. So the idea is come the new season in a few weeks' time, we'll have somebody else doing that, so we can do the commentary as well. I'm trying to avoid doing the commentary at the moment, but we'll see what happens. I seem to be doing everything else at the moment, so.
Yeah, that'd be even more time having to do that for 90 minutes and everything else involved with it. Anyway, we're going to move on to Coventry United FC and a bit of history. Obviously, I've had a look online. Tell us if I'm wrong. Said founded on the 1st of July 2013, 9 years ago. I don't know if you obviously
10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't want you to go in massive about the history, but just a little breakdown of the history would be great.
Yeah, well, obviously the as I mentioned before, the club started in 2013. Bit of a backdrop behind why the club started. Coventry City, who I'm sure everybody knows of, had a lot of issues quite a few years ago with stadium ownership. They moved to Northampton and somebody else, some of the previous owners decided, well, let's start a new team and see what happens. Since then, it's kind of grown. The club was very well funded in the early years. They were getting lots of early promotions, so promotion. I think at one point they got 3 or 4 promotions in a row. So they moved up the leagues quite well because they were well funded. They kind of got to the top of the non-league in the Midland area in their Premier Division, and they've kind of found a place there now. They seem to kind of be finishing kind of 8th and 9th over the seasons the last few years. So they seem to have found a level, and they seem kind of it seems settled in a level now.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on the setup, the management team that you've got in place.
Yeah, well, actually, just on that thing with the history as well, we have had a couple of famous players play for us. We had Patrick Supo play for us. He played for Coventry City and was actually a Cameroon international. So he played for us in the early stages, and also Kevin Thornton. So that's a little bit of history there as well for you. Obviously, yeah, with the coaches, the current manager is Carl Nolan. He was our manager from the start of last season, so he's continued this year. He's assisted by Gary Hardwick, Craig Jones, and then we've got our physio, Lucy Stead. So that's kind of the management team at the moment. I'm sure there's other people I've missed out there, so I do apologise. People I've missed.
That's fine. And I was just going to touch on how many teams you have. I mean, I can see in the latest news on the website, I'll shout that out, Coventry United Football Club.co.uk. You've appointed an under-18s manager. Do you have other teams, first and reserves?
Yeah, so last season, we only had just the men's first team. But this season, the club want to have, they want to give people of the local community, the youngsters, a chance to kind of get into the team and build into the first team. So we've actually got a under 21s team this year and an under 18s team as well. There are youth setups across the city which use the Coventry United badge as well, but they're not linked with the club. So there's quite a few teams and there's quite a lot of people wearing the Coventry United colours.
Excellent stuff. And how often are these guys training through the week when obviously it's off season? I mean, I'm guessing they're going to be start training very soon if they're not already.
No, I've already been going to watch them train myself. They train midweek once a week. Obviously, it's semi-professional, so obviously these guys have got jobs. They have to go to Monday to Friday as well as play football. So they train on a Wednesday at the moment. And as far as I'm aware, it's just saying it's 1 day a week.
I just want to touch on quickly, I should have mentioned it before, the league you're playing in, you mentioned you found your place, the United Counties League Premier Division South. I think that's step 5. Again,
yeah, step 5, yeah.
What sort of level are we talking? You're seeing the guys up like working part-time playing. So I'm guessing that's not a bad standard of football. No,
it's good. Obviously, the players get paid. So obviously, it's a level where they do earn money. I don't think it's a massive amount of money. Different clubs have different budgets, obviously, will pay different amounts. So that they do earn money here, and it's more of a springboard to get up the divisions, really.
And I'll talk about your facilities. Butts Park Arena, it's a capacity of 4,000, 3,000 seats. I had a quick look. I'm guessing it's shared with the rugby. If you want to talk about that a bit for us, please.
Yeah, it's a great stadium. I think they've been there since about 2017. Obviously, it's a massive stadium. It's great facilities for the division that we're in. It's got a lovely AstroTurf pitch, which is brilliant. So obviously, none of the games get called off. As you can imagine, at this level, the amount of games that get called off constantly, and you end up with a backlog of games because of all the waterlogged pitches. So being able to have the kind of facilities we have is brilliant because we can train there, we can play there. It's very rare games get called off, which is what we want, really.
Yeah. And do you get, obviously I said 4,000 capacity, how full is that on a match day, or approximately?
It looks quite empty compared to the size of the stadium, but when you compare it to the team, it's not so bad. So kind of, the hardest part I've had is like pre-COVID, you look at 250, 300 people.
Yeah.
But obviously since COVID, it's been hard to get people back in the stadium. So I think last year we were kind of averaging about 160, 170 fans.
That's not bad. But like you say, when you're in a big stadium, when you're in a big stadium, it's going to make them look smaller. But that's not bad. That's not a bad crowd.
Yeah, and like I say, when you compare it to other teams in the league, it kind of is. It's better than some and worse than others. But it's kind of it's for the level it is. It's a good crowd, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're doing a lot of media work like you're trying to do as well, trying to get more people involved, coming on match days and doing other things like joining teams or joining the juniors.
Well, I say it's just getting the name out there and reminding people that the club's still there. Which it's hard work because you just got to keep banging that drum constantly.
And is there a lot of non-playing staff, obviously, like yourself and volunteers at the club?
Yeah, there's quite a few volunteers. There's about 10 of us at the moment. So obviously we've got the 3 owners, Michael, John and Nigel. We've got the secretary, Marion, the treasurer, Alan. We have some match day volunteers, so Tracy and Alan help on the match day. Lee, who was the person I contacted when I joined the club, he does literally everything. I haven't seen anything he doesn't do yet. We have a commercial guy, Paul Grant, who helps us out. We've got club presidents, Mal. We have Roy, who's the stadium announcer. So yeah, there's quite a few people there who help out. And always welcome more people to come along and help, because it's until you start volunteering, you don't realise how much hard work goes in, even at this level of football. How much work has to go in to get the games on and do all the bits behind the scenes. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, again, I should have touched on this earlier about players coming in and out. I'm looking at the news on your website. Your club captain departed, and you've had a couple of signings. Is there expectance of any more signings to come in before the season, or are you not aware?
No. So we've had 3 new signings which have been on the website. I was at the club last night, training, saw a couple more signings. I've had confirmation there's a few more joining. So obviously it's a bit of a slow process. I mean, there's plenty of players training on the on the Wednesdays. So there's plenty of players coming through. We're constantly getting messages on Facebook and Twitter from players who want to come join the club. So it's just a case of getting the right team and getting the right balance. Obviously, I know we've lost a couple of players, but I mean, the good thing is all the players that have left have all gone to teams higher up in the division, so they're all higher up the league. So they've all progressed their careers, which is absolutely brilliant, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, nicknamed the Red and Greens for obvious reasons when you when you say the colours.
Yeah, well, it's actually the city's badge colours for this actual city is red and green. So that's why I think they chose the red and green colours for the club.
Excellent stuff. And we touched on earlier, the fans. What's the community like with the fans, and are they getting involved with away games as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, since we've moved, so we used to be in the Midland League, where we played the teams a little bit closer, but now we've moved to the Southern Counties League. We have a lot more games that are kind of, some are almost in Cambridge, which is quite far, really. So we do have a little following of fans that will go to the away games, but obviously it's a lot further afield now, so it's not so easy for people to get to the games.
So I'll shout a few links out for the guys listening. Coventry United on Twitter, @Cov United. That's the same on Facebook, YouTube's Coventry United. Is there anything else, any news you want to get out, David, while you're on?
Well, not really. Obviously, just there's so much hard work that goes in. We're constantly looking for sponsors at the moment. We're just looking for people to come on board of the club, volunteers. We'd love to see more volunteers come on, and we really just want to see some fans back in the stadium. Obviously, COVID has I don't want to say made people lazy, but it's got people set in their ways a bit. We want people to get out of the house and do a bit more. I mean, I'd also like to say as well, with volunteers, I'm 40. I'm no spring chicken. This is volunteering for anybody of any age. You haven't got to be young. You can be old. It's just get out there and enjoy it. And when you start, you meet new people. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I can say on the Twitter there, you're photographers, head of media, match day assistants. So anybody listening, obviously the tweet's out there. I'll retweet that after the show as well. Please try and get involved if you can. If you're local, like you say, if you meet people, doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, God, I'm 50 odd doing this, and it's it's hard work, but I love it. So big thanks, Dave, for coming on and keep us updated of anything else that's going on at the club.
Will do.
Great stuff.